much, Mr. Chair. Her Excellency Dr. Nejma Heptullah, Honorable Governor of Manipur, Shri R.K. Ranjan, Member of Parliament from Manipur, my colleague, His Excellency Mo Chao Ong, Ambassador of Myanmar to India, and my distinguished predecessor, Ambassador Gautam Mukhopadhyay, who was the Ambassador of India in Myanmar, all other distinguished colleagues, panelists, friends. I was reading the concept paper when I was approached first for this conference, and I found it very interesting. There is a statement out there talking of Myanmar being the bridge between South Asia and Southeast Asia, and goes on to say that there are people living under this bridge and they tend to get forgotten at times. This got me thinking as to, what I have to say today. And I would come to the bigger projects later on, but let me start with what I saw on the Myanmar side when I traveled to the India-Myanmar border areas, and using those examples to convey to you some of the things which Government of India is doing out here. And from that, we can learn as to what more can be done from these examples. And of course, the objective of today's exercise is that for us who are in government to get more ideas to see how we can expand the ambit of the work which is happening between the two countries. So one of the first visits I took after coming out here was to travel to the border areas in Chin State. We have a program called the Border Area Development Program, which has been going on for quite some years now. Government of India commits $5 million per year per cycle of this program. It is a yearly cycle, though in certain cases, it has not been, it's dragged on for a little bit longer. And the money is used for socio-economic development programs, primarily in the Chin State of this country and of the Naga self-administered area of Myanmar. And I went there with the Border Affairs Department, which implements this program, to inaugurate a bridge. And we did the inauguration of the bridge. And to my mind, it was a good bridge, which would have made the life of the people easier in terms of communication from place A to place B. But the important story out there, which I learned, was that as a result of the bridge, the price of rice in that region had come down. And the price of rice in that area is compared to the price of rice in Calais. And it was close to double the price of rice in Calais, the price of rice in this region. And it had come down to almost the same as the price of rice in Calais. So during the same visit, we went to, we took a detour from the main road, and we traveled into the interiors, and we came to a school building. And this again had been built as part of the border area development program. And we were going around with the school teacher, seeing the place, when we realized that 2 or 3 villages in the vicinity, the entire population of these villages had come there to meet us. And I think there was a general excitement because we were visiting the school, but more importantly, because the school had come up in that place. So under the Border Area Development Program, it is roads, bridges, clinics, schools, these kind of activities which are being undertaken. The program has been going on. The 4th cycle program have been completed, and we are moving into the 5th cycle. And the general sense is that this program has done very well. Now, before I move on to the next item, let me just, as far as border area development program is concerned, I was on a courtesy call to the minister when I had come and he was talking to me about this program. He said that, he told me that, Ambassador, India-Myanmar border areas, I think one of the best things we have done is this border area development program. And he said, I have told the Chinese ambassador that the Chinese should also try and do something on similar lines. And a couple of weeks later, the Chinese ambassador was leaving, and I was in his farewell, and he said the same thing to me. He said that they have been advised by the minister to do something what India and Myanmar are doing. And subsequently, this January, when President Xi Jinping was out here, we learned that a similar program has been put in place between Myanmar and China. We have a similar program which we started much later for the state of Rakhine because of the disturbances out there. So we have built 250 houses out there for the displaced people, but we are in the second cycle undertaking the socio-economic projects for Rakhine state. We have the free movement regime between our two countries. I think that again contributes to the movement of people and easing their livelihood. In a different context, I had visited Chin state again, and we had, or rather we have a proposal of building local connectivities between Chin state and Mizoram on the Indian side, and to have border huts on both the sides so that the people can benefit. I think this should get going in not too distant a future. Final review of the mode of operation is presently being undertaken by the Indian side. But here again, these bridges are so important because under the free movement regime, people staying on this side during months when the flow of water in the river is less, use their four-wheel drives or other means to go to, for example, Champai is the major center on the Indian side, to do their shopping and get various stuff and bring it to their villages. Because connectivity on their side, backward connectivity is much more difficult compared to connectivity on the Indian side. So there are several points where we would be having bridges or other means where the links would be established, and border huts are proposed to be established there. Electricity, we have one connection at Tamu More, under which there is a 11 kV line and electricity is being provided to Myanmar. In fact, we had the joint working group and the joint steering committee meeting only yesterday through video conference between the two countries to have a radial connection, and these connectivities would be in Arunachal, in Manipur, in Mizoram. And there is some proposal for Nagaland also, so that electricity from India can be provided to the villages on the Myanmar side. Now, these are areas which are too distant from the national grid on the Myanmar side. And even when the grid expands, it would be easier to provide electricity from the Indian side. And this is being seriously looked at, and even the Tamu More present link would be upgraded so that more electricity can be sold there. Bus connectivity using the trilateral highway. All of us know about the trilateral highway. I think the section of Kalewa-Yargi of the trilateral highway should be complete in another 1.5 to 2 years. And as far as the bridges are concerned, which were held up because of a legal case, I think those impediments have been removed, and the work should start as soon as the contract is given to the new contractor. But we have been in discussion with the Myanmar side for starting bus connectivity. Coordinated bus service was to start, but because of COVID conditions, it could not. So as soon as the conditions permit, this would start. I think this would be a big game changer in terms of movement of people who otherwise cannot afford traveling by air and to move between the two countries, may it be for health tourism, may it be for religious purposes, but this would be an important step forward. Sitwe port should be operational soon. We are looking at the first quarter of next year. Dredging has to take place at the port, and once that is complete, the port should be operational, which would help the people in the coastal area and along the Kaladan multimodal project. The road connectivity, which is the final part, I think we have difficulties there because of the troubled security conditions out there. But when I have visited Sitwe, and the people I have interacted with, a lot of people in trade and commerce are waiting for this road connectivity to be established. There are markets on the Indian side which they want access to, and I suppose it must be vice versa also. I had the opportunity of discussing with Chief Secretary of Mizoram when I was at the Rikotar-Zokatar crossing point, and he again said that there is a lot of enthusiasm on Mizoram side for this connectivity to establish. Infrastructure in the border areas in general is very, very important, and Government of India and Government of Myanmar together are working to see that it is enhanced and upgraded so that movement of people, movement of trade can take place in an easier manner. There is a lot of informal trade which happens at present, which needs to be moved to the formal side. So I think that again is something which is being looked at. We have something called in Myanmar called the India-Myanmar Industrial Training Centers. There is a proposal to have one in Rakhine State. We are looking at it in consultation with Myanmar government. And this again would help people in the area, giving them capabilities so as to get employed in industries which are coming up in different parts of Myanmar. Hospitals also have been built by Government of India grant assistance. More can be done in this area. IT centers and contribution to agricultural machinery, etc., are activities which have been undertaken, which again contribute to the overall bettering the livelihood and increasing opportunities for people who live in these border areas. But at a larger macro level, I think there is a need for a plan to be put in place as to what we would do, what we would be doing, what plans we have to develop our border areas. I was talking to the trade minister here a few days ago, and he said that he had been tasked by the government to visit Tamu because the government of Myanmar wants to work out a plan to develop the Tamu area and to put in place infrastructure over a long-term period. And he said to me that once COVID is behind us and once he has undertaken the visit, he would like to have a discussion with me so that, similar things are done on the Indian side. So we have, for example, there are other ideas also that there are resources which are available in border areas as to how to exploit those. There is a private company which owns a gas field which is in the proximity of India-Myanmar boundary. They are in discussion with ONGC to try and dispose that of. So the resources of that gas field, how they are to be utilized. So I think at some point of time down the line, I think greater thought needs to be given as to what we can do on our border areas, keeping in mind the opportunities, the resources which are available, so that not only the two countries benefit, but also the people, the population living in these border areas benefits from it. So the idea of my speaking was just to tell you about my experience and what is happening. But I think I would really benefit from new ideas, new thinking, which this forum might throw up, which then can feed into government's plan. And both the governments can then see how best to move ahead with these ideas. Thank you very much.